Hi Kyle, so I'm going to quickly show you how to create drop-down menus in a cell or range of cells on a spreadsheet. Very simple, straightforward process to follow. I'm using a screen recording to do this because it's going to be a bit clearer and more engaging than writing down a bunch of steps on an email. And also, if I'm honest, I'm using you as a little bit of a guinea pig because I'm going to start creating a series of YouTube style tutorials showing Alan and our colleagues how to use systems such as WebGemini and Trust. And I'm doing that because I want to give people more confidence in those systems and their own ability to use those systems to find information which can make their working lives easier. Okay, so for the purpose of this exercise, I've opened up my Hamilton Diver reversal checklist and I've deleted all of the drop-down menus in the diagram number column. So it's now my intention to populate those cells with drop-down menus showing the available set diagram numbers that can be added to those cells. So the first thing I want to do is create a data reference point or table. I've got a new tab here called data reference, and you'll see in there I've got two tables already, and those are for the drop down menus here for the set numbers and for the reverse and correct columns for yes or no. So let's go look. And there's my two tables for the set numbers and for the yes no option, and this is where we're going to create our new table for the set diagram numbers. You don't have to call this tab data reference. I've just called it that for the ease of access, and logically that's what this tab is to me, my data reference point. So ordinarily, if I didn't have the information easily copyable to hand, I'd have to write it out all here, one piece of data at a time like this. If I knew how to type properly, that is. So with Excel creation, there's always a laborious critical step of data input, which takes time. That's unavoidable when you're setting up a spreadsheet, which I'm sure you're already aware of. So, but rather than have you sit here watching me type out a bunch of set diagram numbers, which would be incredibly exciting for you, I'm sure, I'm going to, here's one I prepared earlier, copy this information from this tab here, which are a list of my set diagram numbers. Right click, copy. Go back into my data reference tab, click on cell B6. Again, I'm going to right click and then paste it as a value. And under the paste options, it's the clipboard with the 1, 2, 3 numbers on the corner. That just means that the data's pasted in as values only without any formulas or formatting that could throw the data out of sync. So in it goes, and we're all good. Next thing I need to do is to format all this information as a table, so Excel knows it's looking at a table. I can do that here on the Home tab. Go across to this option here, Format as Table. Click on that, and it gives you a list of design options to be able to create a table. So I'm going to click this simple one here, and it brings up a new window prompt, Format as Table, and it asks you a couple of questions. The first one is, where is the data for your table? Well, I'd already pre-selected it all, so it's already done me the favour of populating that field with the cell range. For the data, Bravo 6 through Bravo 59 at the bottom there. And it's also pre-selected my table has headers. And it's done that because Excel's pretty clever, and it recognises that the top of a column is usually the table header or a row of table headers. So all I do here is press OK. And that's now formatted as a table. And just because I want everything to look nice and consistent, I'm going to copy across the formatting to make it all look the same. So select all that information in that table there, back to the Home tab, click on Format Painter, and then select that table in its entirety. Release, and the formatting is copying across. So I'm going to also put in a thick border on the outside. Now everything looks standardized and smart and shipshape. Last thing to do is to go into the main spreadsheet and create these drop-down menus. Now what we're doing is we're not creating a drop-down menu. We're telling Excel that in this cell or range of cells, whoops, nearly copied it across. In that cell or range of cells, I want the data to be restricted to certain types. That's what we're doing. So we're not looking for a drop-down menu option. We're looking for a data option. So you select all the cells that you want to populate with a drop down menu. I've selected them all, cells Charlie 11 through Charlie 60. And I go up to the toolbar, I go to the data tab, and we go across to this option here called data validation. Click on that, and it's now going to ask me a series of questions, or give me a series of options to be able to start validating the data in these cells. Hence, we're in this option here, settings, validation criteria. So what am I going to allow in these cells? Well, you have a range of options in terms of the data that you want in there, but what I want to allow is a list of data that can be selected. In this case, our set diagram numbers. So I'm going to validation criteria, allow a list. And now it's asked me for a source for that list. Excel wants to know what it wants, what I want it to put in those lists or our drop-down menu. So you click your cursor into the source field, go down to your data reference tab, select the data that you want in that list. And you see there it populates the source with a formula which essentially says the source equals the data reference between cell Bravo 7 and Bravo 59. The dollar signs just ensure that nothing changes automatically in these cells. I want that data to appear as it is. I don't want Excel to change it based on any predetermined understanding it has of numerical sequences such as time, date, etc. So I'm good to go. Validation criteria, I'm allowing for a list. I've told Excel where that information is coming from to populate that list, and now I press OK. And we are done. We have now in each cell, cell 11, C11 through C60 on the diagram number, we have a drop-down menu which allows us to select the appropriate set diagram next to the set. And that is that. Hope you found it useful.